Welcome back. This is your GMC Sierra tweet of the night. Pitt volleyball sweeter than ever. They are headed to that Sweet 16. Just so impressed by the squad. You guys 29-1 entering the tournament. Just one loss this entire season to SMU. Just continuing to beat these teams, and it's just so impressive. Before we switch gears to the pros and talking some Steelers and Pens here, I want to stick with college one more second. I'm wearing this green suit today, guys, to show my support for Marshall. They are competing in that Sun Belt Championship game, and I was down in West Virginia for like 3.5 years before coming here and cover that team, and just to see them in that championship game is so exciting. And they were up big at halftime, so hopefully they can hold on to that. Just wanted to give them a little bit of love because I know they've been working really hard down there to make it to this game, and to see them there is just so impressive. But Suzie, big game tomorrow in Acrisure. You and I are both going to be there.
I'm excited.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
Rivalry game, obviously get right game for the Steelers after that, unfortunate outing in Cleveland last time. So, Suze, what is maybe the biggest thing you're excited to see in tomorrow's game?
You keep saying it's a get-right game for them, right? It's a revenge type of game for the Steelers against the Browns tomorrow. I do think that they're going to have a little more swagger in this game, especially after the offensive numbers.
Swagger. I like it.
Swagger. They're going to have some swagger tomorrow.
Swagger.
After the offensive output that they put up against Cincy last week. They showed that they can have an offensive battle with a team, going back and forth with the team, which is something that we haven't seen from the Steelers all season. So now that they've had it against Cincy, I think it might be time that they put that beating down on the Browns and really show them what they're all about, especially after the way that they went out in Cleveland a couple weeks back.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to watch how they handle Myles Garrett this time around. He had a huge game in Cleveland, and I think that offensive line is really upset with how they managed him. And so I do think they're going to have a little bit of a better showing against that defense. I think Russell Wilson is going to cook. And, you and I talked about on Wednesday the possibility of Calvin Austin being out with that concussion, maybe seeing Mike Williams more implemented in the game plan. But he was back. He was a full participant in practice on Friday. Okay. So I do think he'll probably play on Sunday. But I think regardless, Russ is probably going to hit like 4 or 5 guys for a significant amount.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at that last game, he had 10 different targets, and that is going to be the key to his success, is how can he shake up this offense? You can't always just go to George Pickens, because then other teams are going to pick that up, and then George Pickens is going to continually be covered. So the more that he can spread out this offense, the better. What other weapons does Russell Wilson have on the field? One argument that you and I always say is Muth and Darnell Washington. Throw it up the middle. I mean, we saw success with that last game. You're calling it this game again with Muth. So again, I think him having all of those options, that's also going to be really exciting to see tomorrow. Rather than just continually going to George Pickens or whoever else, let's see you continue to spread the ball around. Yeah,
it'll be really fun to watch this offense tomorrow, and the defense too. Alex Highsmith will be back tomorrow. Very excited for that because, I mean, guys, since week 3, we haven't had all of our linebackers healthy. It's looking like for the first time since week 3, we will have that tomorrow. And there's probably going to be packages with, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig, and TJ Watt in there. And I just think they're really tough to run through, those 3. So hopefully they can have a big defensive showing tomorrow. But let's get with some callers. Our phone lines are lighting up right now. Let's go with David in Finleyville. David, what's going on?
Hi, how you doing tonight? I want to ask you both if the team that the Steelers have right now, are they capable of going to the Super Bowl?
Oh, that's a good question. I think they're very much capable.
That's a bold question.
I know. It is bold, but hey, Suze, I think people around here are very excited about this team. I think they do have the depth to be able to make it happen. Now, the AFC is a tough conference. I mean, it's just, you have the Chiefs at the top, the Bills at the 2 seed, and the Steelers probably at that 3 seed. And, you know, we've seen it. The Steelers, it's tough. Every time they go up against the Chiefs and the Bills, it's really, really tough. So they're going to have to get through those guys in order to make it to the Super Bowl. And I think that Christmas Day game is going to be a very big tell on how they're going to be able to handle that, because obviously they have the Chiefs that day. And if they can somehow manage a win, especially here at home, you have all the, you know, everything on your side in that situation. And if they can walk away with a win in that one, it'll be huge.
I think that that's a bold question. I said that. Bold question there.
Yeah.
And I think you raise a really fair point. You have to make it through the Chiefs and the Bills in order to get to that Super Bowl game. And again, those have been the teams that have stopped the Steelers in the past. So is it a little bit different this year? I'm going to be honest. We need to look back at our predictions from week 1 of every blade of grass, because I don't know if we were predicting the Steelers to be this good or to have this mojo going on at this point in the season. So maybe they surprise me. I think that it's going to be a tough task, though, to get there if they do. And I think it's going to be very surprising if they make it there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, too, because Hard Knocks, you know, is following the whole AFC North, and they're going to follow whatever team until they lose in the playoffs. So if the Steelers go to New Orleans and go to that Super Bowl, Hard Knocks is following them to the Super Bowl, which that'll be interesting to see, too, because then instead of covering 4 teams, the entire 55-minute episode is going to be just on the Steelers. So that'll be very interesting to follow as well. All right, let's go to JB and Shady Side. JB, what's up?
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. How
are you?
I'm good, thanks. So James Franklin should be fired after this game. I mean, how long are you going to give this guy? He's shown that he can't beat these really good teams. I mean, Penn State's a great tradition. The guy came from Vanderbilt, so it's like, what do you expect? He should be canned. He should be fired after this game. I'm sick of seeing this.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Penn State fans, I think, echo, you know, your same message. I mean, it's been a long time. He wins the games he's supposed to win and just can't win the big ones. Right now, I mean, I don't know, Suze, do you know what the score is right now? Last I saw, I mean, they were
looking right now. It's 38-24.
38-24. I mean, hey, they're hanging tight with Oregon, who, by the way, is #1 in the nation and has held that spot the entire season. I know the Ohio State game was frustrating. I get that. And I was frustrated watching it as well. The game planning in that was kind of crazy to me. You didn't even incorporate Tyler Warren until 8 minutes were left in the game. That was all very interesting to me, how that was handled. This game, though, Oregon and what happened ever since that Ohio State game, I don't know. It's pretty impressive. And obviously, if he can walk away with this win, it's going to be huge. But either way, Penn State is going to be in these playoffs. And so we'll be watching James Franklin throughout this postseason for the next couple weeks and see how he is handling these next couple weeks. And, hey, if he can pull out these wins and, you know, keep it going in the postseason, who knows? Maybe it's, you know, recency bias and he's back in the good graces of everybody. All right, let's go to Joe from Allison Park. Joe.
Hi, Cassie. Hi, Suzie.
Hi.
I'm talking wide receiver football. Pickens was an outstanding receiver, but how do you guys stop taking these selfish, 15 penalties? I mean, we had kicked blocked when we could have had a touchdown. How do you send a message to him? I mean, we can't afford to bench him because he's too valuable to this offense. I'd also talk about, why are they not using Mike Williams? And will they? And it's the heart of the season, playoff football, December football. We've got to get involved in we need to. He's the one guy that gets running coverage away from Pickens. So where? I mean, they went all out to go get him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with everything you just said. I think the saving grace is, look, Tomlin's dealt with these characters before, right? Antonio Brown. You know, if any coach can deal with an Antonio Brown, I'm pretty sure they can take on any sort of diva wide receiver that is in that room. And I think he's handling George Pickens just fine. I think it's been such a talk after this Bengals game that I really don't see it being an issue anymore. I think between Tomlin getting to Pickens and Pickens, frankly, probably just being sick of hearing all of this.
Yeah.
If I were Pickens, I would be so fed up with having everybody having my name in their mouth about me being, you know, a diva or drama queen or whatever it is. I would be so sick of that I would just go out there and just let your play speak for itself.
Yeah, I mean, but that's also the catch-22. I could see him being like, you know what? My name's in everybody's mouth right now. I have to continue to keep doing this until it's not.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. We're going to go to one more break. We have a lot more to talk about, though, so stick around. 412-575-2600. Give us a call. Welcome back. So we don't have a ton of time left, but before we go, I want to get Suze your score prediction for tomorrow. Like I said, we're both going to be at that game tomorrow. I think it's going to be a really exciting one. But I have to say, I think the Steelers are going to put a very big victory on the Browns tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I think that they're going to win. I'm going to stick to my score prediction of 29-20 that I said in every blade of grass, because I think once you put something out there, you can't take it back. So I'm not going to take it back. However, I do feel like that line is going to shift a little bit tomorrow, and I'm really excited to see what they can do offensively against the Browns. Yeah, it's going to be so exciting. And like that last caller said too, hopefully we see Mike Williams out there a little bit more. Yes. I still think it's so crazy that he's not getting targeted. But also wanted to mention the Penguins' big win tonight. They've now won 5 of their last 6 games, so hopefully they're on the right track. But that's all we have for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. For me and Susie Cool and everyone here at KDKA, have a great night, and we'll see you guys next week.